Okay, so this is the first tutorial we're going to be testing out, see how it goes. It's probably going to be a bit messy, probably going to do some stuff wrong, but hey, it's part of learning. Same as Blender. So today what we're going to make is a low poly pawn from chess. So this is the Blender interface as you start up. I'm going to go up here, toggle full screen. It's nice to have a bigger workspace. So this is our current scene. What I'm going to do is get rid of this by either pressing delete or X and then clicking just there. And then I'm going to press Shift A. In fact, I need to turn my keyboard, my shortcuts. Here we go. Here we go. Now you can actually see what I'm pressing. That was a lot better. So I'm going to press Shift A, which brings up this Add menu. Go down to Cylinder. Then we've got our cylinder added, which is cool. So now we're going to go down here where it says Add Cylinder. Click on this. And we're going to change the amount of vertices. So this is basically, as you can see just here, each one of these points just along here is a vertice, or vertex, should I say. And we want to reduce that if we want to make a low poly one. So actually I'm going to delete that again, but add another one. So only when you add it in do you get this option. And that you can change all sorts of things like where it's going to drop the cylinder in, the rotation, all sorts of stuff. But you can change those sort of things later. But you can't change the vertexes afterwards. So it's good to do it from here. So we're going to change to 12 to get that low poly look that we're after. I'm also going to come up here onto the top right, and you see it turns into a little like crosshair. I'm going to click there and drag just to the left, and then on this menu on this side I'm going to add a reference. So I'm going to go to the image editor, image, open, and I'm going to navigate to where my reference is, and we have our reference just there. Okay, and you can move around this again just by using your middle mouse button to scroll around and zoom in to get it up to a nice size so we can see. Okay, so this is roughly what we're going to be making today. So from here, we want to adjust this cylinder so it's a little bit more like this. So we're going to have to change this scale. So we're going to press S and then press Z and then bring it down and then press S, bring it down. So by pressing S, you're bringing up the scale. By pressing Z, then you're changing which axis you're moving it in. Okay, just keep adjusting this down until we're happy with it. Something like that. And then I'm going to go down. Okay, so what I just did there as well, if you press 1 on the numpad, it will take you to like a front view. And the other numpads is something else as well, but we'll worry about that later. Okay, so if I haven't mentioned it already, which I probably haven't, you hold the middle mouse button and you can rotate around your object. You can also hold Shift and middle mouse button, and it will let you pan around. And then by default, using full stop or period, that will focus on your object, but I've adjusted it so it's Shift F because that seems to work better for me. Anyway, so from this menu, what we're going to do is we're going to press Tab and it will open up edit mode. So from here, I'm going to click off because when it's all orange like that, everything's selected. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press 3, which moves onto this icon up here, which is face select. And I'm going to click on this top face, and I'm going to press I, which is inset. And as you can see, if I move this around, it will make another face just inside of it like so. So that's a good start. Now from here, I'm going to extrude it. So I'm going to press E and raise it up. And as you can see, starting to look a little bit more like this, but hey, I'm kind of bailing from the reference a little bit, but it's fine. So, and then you left click and it will finalize. So click off it again, click back on the face, press E, bring it up again, and then I'm going to press S, bring it outwards. So as you can see, it's pushing this face back out again. Press E, bring it up. And if it doesn't automatically lock to bring it up, extruding upwards in the Z-axis, you can press E and then you can press Z and it will lock to that axis, or you can press X if you want to change it to that one, Y to change it to that one, but we're going to use only Z at the moment. So that looks a bit cooler. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here again and I'm going to press I, insert the face, and then I'm going to extrude it up with E again. In fact, I'm going to press Control Z to undo that one, and then I'm going to press G on this one. So now what I'm doing instead is I'm moving these ones rather than extruding them. So each time you extrude, it's adding more faces, but if you just move them, it's keeping the current set of vertexes or faces and moving them around. So from here, I'm going to press G and I'm going to press Z again to constrain it to that axis. There we go. Looks kind of cool. And then we're going to press E again, raise it up, press S to scale it. This time I'm going to make it smaller. Okay, and then I'm going to raise it again, S, bring it in again a bit more. So how are we looking? Looking all right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go extrude it upwards once more, and then I can press I, bring it quite a bit in. And then from here, up a little bit like more, scale it inwards, up a bit more, scale it inwards, another extrude, bring it back in again. There we go. It's kind of cool. So from here, go up to the top face. And unfortunately, it's good to get, generally when you're copying a reference, you want a straight on face and you want a side face or a top down face, depending on what you're doing. But for this one, just going to try and wing it a little bit, make it up as a little bit as we go. So from here, what do I want to do here? Let's extrude it up again and then scale it out. See if we can get this. See if we can get that little face that it's got there as well. So we've scaled it. We extruded it up a bit, scaled it out, extruded it up again, and then from here we can inset it and get back. So now we're going to make this kind of round ball bit on top. Looks about right like that. From here we're going to extrude it up and scale it out a little bit. Extrude it up, scale it out a bit more, extrude it up. And at this point I want to start thinking about being about halfway. So from here, extrude it up, scale it in, extrude it up, scale it back in, extrude it up, scale it back in. There we go. Looks kind of cool. And from here, I'm going to press Tab again. And then I can click on this. I can right click and can shade it smooth if I like. In fact, I kind of make that circular bit a bit more, a bit larger, to be honest. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press 1 to rotate out to the facing it from the front. Let's have a look up here. So what I can do now is I can use this X-ray to look all through it. So we select all these top ones just here, and we can scale it up. Whoa! Let's try this one, like that. There we go. That means I can select through all of them, so I don't miss any of them. As you can see, they're all highlighted because of the X-ray. Without X-ray on, you select these faces, you will not affect the other side. Okay. So it's kind of looking a bit cooler. Not exactly perfectly round, but it kind of works. Okay. So from here, I'm going to tab out of that. So press tab and you go back to object mode. I'm going to right click, shade smooth. That's kind of cool. Not perfect, but it's alright. Okay, from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down over here and click on our material properties. I'm going to add a new property. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and match this just a little bit. Go down. So by clicking here, you can change the color to whatever you like. Obviously, you can't see the changes right now because we have to go up here to viewport shading mode so you can see what you're doing as you're changing it. So let's change that down to black. And as you can see, it still looks like quite a matte surface here. And the reason it's got that is because the roughness is still quite high. So this is going to affect the roughness of the object. So if I added that higher, it starts looking more like very, very coarse, very rough kind of material. And if I lower that, it's going to look more like plastic or like paint. And I think just about that looks all right for now. Okay. And also I want to raise this a little bit and add a little plane underneath it just to render it on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press 1 again, click our object, look here, press G to move it and raise it up. And I'm going to hold shift just so I can adjust it so it looks like it's on the right place just above the red axis here. And then from here I can press shift A, mesh plane, and that adds a plane just underneath. And then I'm going to press S, scale it out. There we go. And it gives it a little cool surface to sit on. And then I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click on the plane, add a material, and I'm going to make this a little bit of a darker grey kind of looking background. I think that looks alright as a little plane to sit on. Ba, ba, ba. Yeah, that's kind of cool for now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press 0. And what this will do is it will jump to our camera view. Now, as you can see, this isn't exactly where we want the camera to be. And in fact, I also can get rid of this reference. So what I'm going to do is I want to keep this window. So I'm going to click up here and drag to the right, and that will merge them together, but keep this one that we selected first. Okay, so from here, I'm going to press N, go to view, and then this little tick box here, I'm going to press camera view, camera to view. So now as I adjust it, it's going to directly affect my camera and it doesn't break out of it every single time. If this is off and you adjust the camera, it'll move out of your camera each time but leave the camera where it is, which can be useful as well. Anyway, I'm going to go back to our camera by pressing 0, turn our camera view back on, and adjust where we are a little bit. Okay, and as you can see, the edge of the plane's still there, so I'm going to click on the plane, extend that out a little bit more, and there we go. We have our little pawn piece. Okay, so if you like this, guys, let me know, and I can have a look at making some more. If you'd like to see the whole chessboard made or something, I don't know, could be fun. All right. So what we're going to do before we wrap up here is we're going to render it out. So we've got a nice little image to show off. So we're going to leave the lights and stuff as it is for now. We'll worry about that later. At the moment we're in Eevee, which is a really good engine since it can like quickly render out more generally lower quality images, but they are really good to test out visuals for games and things like this because it's a live render engine, so we can move around and there's hardly any delay in showing what's going on. If we use cycles, this is generally for higher quality things, so you can use this more for architecture and stuff like that, as well as if you just like really high res renders and more realistic style images. But it does take a little bit longer, and it can take a lot longer depending on your settings. So for now, we'll just stick to Eevee, which is normally what it's going to be on from the beginning. Position our camera in a place we like, and we're going to hit F12. And there it is. There is our render image. From here, if you want to save the image, you can press Alt-S, and then it will open up a save window. I'm just going to save it on my desktop. Chessboard. And save that out. There we go. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope this is useful to anyone just getting started with Blender. Let me know what else you'd like to see in the comments and hit that subscribe button.